spring slowly makes its way toward warmer weather. Many people are trying to get back in shape, look their very best for the summer, just like we do every year. But this year, even more than before, our teens and even younger children are hopping on the body image bandwagon, in large part due to social media. Now, it can be a dangerous trend, and we're going to talk about some of the more extreme social media influences out there that are putting additional pressure on our kids with digital parenting expert Elizabeth Milovidov, who joins me on the set. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hello, Gina.
Always so great to have you on the show.
It's a pleasure.
So just kind of set the stage for us first, if you will. Just give us a general overview about this increasing social media pressure on kids today. How bad is it really?
Yeah, well, social media has great uses for connecting and keeping people in contact. But of course, there's always that little bit of negativity that comes up where there's so much peer pressure. There are filters. People want to put their best foot forward, so to speak, their best face forward by using filters and things like that. And so young kids and even young tweens, so under 13, they're doing more and more, and they're putting themselves out there and online to their detriment, I believe.
And it's interesting because we tend to think this is something that's very female focused or very, very feminine, when in fact, this is something that's happening with boys as well. So you told me about something that I never heard before, looks maxing. What is that exactly?
Yeah, exactly. So as the mom of two teen boys, looks maxing is something that came up in my house. And so basically, looks maxing is the idea of maximizing your appearance. And so there's soft maxing, where boys are becoming more and more attuned to moisturizing, and something even called mewing, which is where you try to thin out your jawline, so to speak. There's a lot of things out there, Jeannie. There's also hard maxing, and this is the flip side, I would say, where young boys are turning to cosmetic surgery. And so really it's a bit hardcore.
And what's fascinating about all of this is like something like the soft looks maxing. So, why not? The boy wants to put on whatever, make yourself happy. But what interests me is it seems like some of this stuff these kids really truly believe is not based on any science at all.
No, unfortunately not. There are a lot of social media influencers who are out there who are able to sell courses online and sell, look like me, be like me. And our young boys are being very susceptible to this kind of messaging.
Right. Okay, let's talk about girls now for a minute.
Sure.
And young girls. And this is something that I've seen in my own house, this whole phenomena of Sephora kids. So explain that to us.
Right. So Sephora kids, it's not just because it's Sephora, but it's all the retailers, where young girls are flocking these places to buy anti-aging products, things that they've seen online, that they've heard about, and they're buying out the stock. And I'm 7-year-olds looking for things like retinols and creams that, Jeannie, you and I don't even need. And they're putting it on. So it's an issue of concern.
And to some point, it's really become an addiction to these sort of age-inappropriate beauty products. I guess the real question here, whether it's this or looks maxing, is what can parents do to actually support their children? For example, I know in my house, I said to my daughter, let me take you to a real dermatologist, and we'll talk about what your skin really needs, and she shut me down.
Oh, and she preferred to follow the influencers.
Yeah, it's a discussion in my house. We're working on it.
Okay, there we go. Well, I think that it's important, again, not to panic, right? Just think back when we were young, Jeannie, and we had our little toy makeup kits. Do you remember those? And even with boys, they were looking at ads, things like, the 50-pound weakling that becomes the muscular guy. So it's the same thing. It's just that social media is amplifying this. And so it's that self-criticism and things like that. So what parents need to do is kind of pull out the social media part and start teaching self-compassion, body kindness, to explain to our children that so many of the things that we see online, it's setting unrealistic standards, unrealistic beauty standards. This isn't real life. I think those are some of the things that parents can really do. And if they see that there are some unhealthy behaviors that are continuing, really, professional help is a good thing.
What about for many people who just feel that their kids are getting this because they're just on their screens too darn much? So how do we negotiate that?
You know the answer. It's going to be conversation and critical thinking. If you think that it's too much, talk with your child and say, listen, or your teen, say, we have to come to a common ground here. And it is okay to say no. It is okay to put in some boundaries. We've discussed this before. Balance and boundaries are key. You're not a bad parent if you say, No. So I think we can do everything within limitation.
And anything, just one last perhaps tip to help our kids stop scrolling when they get sucked into it, or for any of us?
Yeah, I think for all of us, we should be a little bit more mindful about doom scrolling and just scrolling in general. There are all sorts of offline activities that we can do that express creativity and other types of expression. So let's get offline a little bit more, especially with summer coming.
Indeed. It's a good chance to go outside and do activities that make you feel good.
Yeah.
All right. Elizabeth, thank you so much for coming on the
It's a
show. That's our
pleasure.
digital parenting expert, Elizabeth Milovidov. Thanks so much.
Thank you.